Very good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss brief notes on control and coordination. Okay, we already discussed one mark questions, two mark questions related to control and coordination. These are key points related to control and coordination. That's why I'm going to discuss with you. Okay, let's start. Stimuli. The change in the environment to which living organisms respond, okay, are called stimuli. Example: heat, cold, sound, smell, taste, touch, pressure, gravity, water, etc. These are all stimuli. Living organisms respond to stimuli in the form of body movements. Then coordination, chapter title: what control and coordination means. What do you mean by coordination? The working together of various organs in an organism to produce a proper response to stimulus is called as a coordination. In animals, control and coordination is done by the nervous system and endocrine system. Okay, in plants, control and coordination is done by chemical substances called plant hormones or phytohormones. Then first of all, we have to discuss about animal nervous system or coordination. Animal nervous system and coordination. In animals, control and coordination is done by nervous system and endocrine system. The nervous system consists of a brain, spinal cord, nerves, and sense organs. Okay, we already know the sense organs are eye, skin, ears, nose, tongue. Okay, these are the what sense organs. Then brain we already know. Okay, this part is called spinal cord. Okay, then whatever these small fiber like structures are, those are nerves. Those are what? Nerves. Then coordination by brain. Here we took a simple example. When a telephone bell is ringing, then it's a stimulus. It's a what? Stimulus. It produces sound. Then that sound what sensed by a sense organ. Okay, like ears here. Then it what send the signal to where? Brain. Then brain sends the signals to muscles. Muscles show the what movement on the basis of the stimuli. Muscles show the response based on what moment of what types of a stimuli. Here we took about one small example of a sound as a stimulus. Then these are all working mechanism of brain. Then like that only sight, smell, taste, pain, touch, all these are what sensed by sense organs. What? Ear, nose, tongue, skin. Okay, then whatever in sense organs, what the type of cells are there, those are called as a receptors. Our brain what coordinates. Then muscles and what glands, they are called as effectors. They show a what visible response. They show a visible response. Okay, whatever the movement of the what stimuli is created. Next, the neuron. We already in our previous classes we already discussed about neuron. Once again we have to discuss in 10th standard also. So see, nervous system is nervous system is made up of millions of neurons. In our brain, millions of neurons are there. A nerve is an organ containing a bundle of nerve cells called neurons. Neurons carry electric message. Neurons carry electric message from one part of a body to another part of a body. Those are called as impulses. They are spread throughout the body. Then impulse travels from dendrite. Impulse travels, these are dendrites. See these structures, whatever you are seeing, finger like projection, those are dendrites to cell body. This middle part is a cell body. Then along axon, this is axon. Whatever the middle region is there, that's axon. Then axon to nerve ending, that's called as a terminal. Okay, then a structure of typical neuron. Okay, we already studied and we already know how to draw the neuron or nerve cell. Okay, these are finger like, whatever the projections are there, those are called as a dendrite. This whole part is called as a cell body. Then middle part, okay, we already know that's nucleus. Then from nucleus, whatever the long hair like structure is going, that's a axon. Then this axon is covered by one layer, that's called as a myelin shape. Okay, and in between those nodes, a road of a ranvier is there. Then in axon, small dot like structures are there, those are called as the schwann cells. In between this neuron middle one place small gap is there, that gap is called as a synapse, and these are called as what? Axon terminal. What is it? Axon terminal. But next, synapse. It is a small gap, I already told for you. Because of neurons never touch chemicals, signals called neurotransmitters must travel through the space called synapse between two neurons. Okay, whatever we see in a neuron, here a small space is there, that gap is there, that's called as a synapse. Okay, it's a neurotransmitter. Okay, here see what happening. What receptors, whatever the sent a message, that message transferred here. Next, how the messages are transferred here. Okay, it is a gap in between one neuron to another neuron, their synapse is there. Then important terms: receptor, where they are in sense organs. Receptors are the specialized tips of nerve cells which receive the stimuli and pass the message to the brain or spinal cord through the sensory nerves. Through the sensory nerves. Then we see a different types of receptors for what in those photoreceptors. Okay, photoreceptors are present in eye to detect light. Then phonoreceptors in the ears to detect a sound. Then olfactory receptors, where they are present in nose to detect a smell. Then gustatory receptors, where they are in tongue to detect a taste. Then tango receptors, where they are in the skin to detect a touch. Then these are what? Receptors, they are present in sense organs, I already told for you. The next, effectors. Okay, effectors are the muscles and glands which respond to the information from the brain and spinal cord through the motor nerves. Then response, any behavior of a living organism that results from an external or internal stimulus. Example, pulling hand away from a hot plate is a response. It is a what? A response. Then sensory nerves. Okay, sensory nerves are nerves which carry information from the receptors, sense organs, to the brain and spinal cord. Okay, sensory organs are also connected to where? Sensory nerves, where they are connected? They are connected to sensory organs, sensor organs. Then motor nerves which carry information from the brain and spinal cord to the effectors. Effectors we already know. What are effectors? Muscles and glands. Then here they given a structure of two neurons, how they are interconnected. How they are interconnected. See, with the help of dendrite, they are interconnected. See, then what? Some different structures also they given. Receptor ending. Receptor ending are present in where? Sense organs. Then this is a sensory neuron. Okay. Then middle gap, whatever you are seeing, that's a synapse. Axon. Axon, where it came a cell body. Okay. Here some dendrites are there. Those dendrites are connected to another neuron. Okay, yellow color neuron. It's called as a axon interneuron. Then axon interneuron connected to another neuron. Okay, red colored neuron you are seeing, that also contains what? Axon. Okay, it is a motor neuron. Sensory neuron, motor neuron carry the message from brain and spinal cord to where? To muscles and glands. Okay, and this is a axon. What? Axon terminal. Then types of neurons. Okay, three types of neurons are there: sensory neuron, interneuron, motor neuron. Okay, what interneurons are helpful to connect sensory neurons and motor neurons. Then interneurons, in previous diagrams also we seen here. See, this is interneuron. This is what? Interneuron. It connects what? Sensory neuron and motor neuron. Okay, and synapse we already discussed. Now we are going to discuss another very important concept, that reflex action. What we are going to discuss? Reflex action. A reflex action is a sudden, unconscious and involuntary response of the effectors to a stimulus. Example, we suddenly withdraw our hand if we suddenly touch a hot object. Okay, in this reflex action the nerves in the skin, okay, nerves in the skin is a receptor, detects the heat and passes the message to the what message through the sensory nerves to the spinal cord. Then the what information passes through the motor nerves to the muscles effector of a hand, and we withdraw our hand. Okay. Then they given here one example. See, it's a finger. In finger, sensory neurons are there. It comes in contact with the burning stick. Then what message sent to the where spinal cord. In spinal cord, interneurons are there. In spinal cord, they send a message to where muscles withdraw hand or withdraw fingers. Okay. Then whatever the motor neuron is there, okay, motor neuron, and what interneuron and sensory neuron, these are all connected to our spinal cord. Then reflex arc. What reflex arc? Arc shows how neuron types work together. How neuron types work together. Okay, see here. Okay, reflex arc. Arc shows how neuron type works together. Okay, if you see here, what the afferent and efferent fibers often pass in the same nerve. Where they pass in the same nerve. Okay, whatever the stimulus in environment occur, it reaches to receptor through sensory neuron. Okay, sensory neuron is a what sensory cell body. Then in our spinal cord, two layers are there. One is a white matter, another one is a gray matter. Okay. Then what this what whatever the sensory cell body is there, where it connects to mid part of the spinal cord, to the association neuron. Then association neuron to which one? Motor neuron. Okay, motor neuron to effectors. I already told for you, it's a muscles or glands, and they show a visible response like this. The chain occurs. Okay, this is whatever the pathway a message is traveling to spinal cord, it is called as a reflex arc. Then in a simple way, how the what if we touch a hot objects, how message travels to spinal cord and come back to the what our muscles, with a small video they given here. See here how the message is going and coming back. See. Okay, reflex arc. Whatever the bowl is there, or what glass is there, it's a hot water glass. What Whenever we touch, the message is going to where? To spinal cord like this, and again comes back to the where muscles. This is our reflex arc. Okay. Then next, human nervous system. A part of a nervous system. The human nervous system consists of the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system consists of a what cranial nerves and what spinal nerves. Okay, these arise from the brain and spinal cord. Cranial nerves 12 pair are there. Okay, and spinal nerves are 31 pair are there. Okay, what cranial nerves arise from the brain 31, and spinal nerves arise from spinal cord. Okay. Then how they spread in our body, they given the structure. See how they spread in our body. Okay, 12 pair and 13 one pair is told for you. Those are how they spread in our body. Then now we are going to discuss about human brain. What human brain? The brain is the main coordinating center in the body. It protects by the cranium. Here one protective layer is there in and around brain. Okay, that protective layer is called as a cranium, or it is a skull. It is covered by the three membranes called meninges. Okay, filled with a fluid called CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, which protects the brain from what shocks. Okay, accidental shocks. The brain has three main parts. They are forebrain, midbrain, and hidden brain. Okay, this much part is called as a what? Forebrain. This much part is called a hindbrain, and the middle one it's called as a midbrain. Then if we see the structures, okay, brain stem, pons, okay, temporal lobe, frontal lobe, okay, cerebrum, very important, parietal lobe, then occipital lobe, cerebellum. Okay, cerebrum is different and cerebellum is different. Cerebrum comes in what forebrain, and cerebellum comes under hindbrain. Then we are first what we have to discuss. We have to discuss about forebrain. Consists of the cerebrum and what olfactory lobes. It is the thinking part of our brain and controls voluntary actions. It controls touch, smell, hearing, taste, sight, mental activities like thinking, learning, memory, emotions, etc. Then midbrain. Midbrain controls involuntary actions and reflects movements of a head, neck, eyes, etc. Then hindbrain consists of important three parts. What are those? Those are cerebellum, pons, and medulla. Then cerebellum controls body movement. It helpful to balance and posture. Then pons controls respiration. Okay, and pons main work is facial expression. Then medulla oblongata controls heartbeat, blood pressure, swallowing, coughing, sneezing, vomiting. These all things are what controlled by medulla. Then human brain. Okay, human brain we already studied. Okay, what cerebellum, what cerebrum, midbrain I told for you. This is a pons, medulla oblongata. Okay, mid part of the brain, that's a midbrain. Okay, in a brain, whatever the CNS we divide into two parts, brain and spinal cord. Again, brain is what divided into two parts. Okay, cerebrum and diencephalon. Okay, the next spinal cord. Okay, whatever you are hearing, seeing here structure. Okay, the structure is called as a spinal cord. In between this is a vertebral column. Inside this vertebral column, one small sensitive tube like a structure is there, that's called as a spinal cord. Okay, the spinal cord starts from the brain and extends through the vertebral column. It carries message to and from the brain. It also controls reflex action. Cranium and vertebral column. The brain, what is a delicate organ, is protected inside a bony box, that's called as a cranium. Inside the box, brain is contained a fluid balloon which provides shock absorption, that's a CSF I already told for you, cerebrospinal fluid. Vertebral column protects a spinal cord. Okay, in between these what strong bones, vertebral column, in between those what spinal cord is there. Now we are going to discuss coordination in plants. In animals, control and coordination is governed by the nervous system. However, plants do not have a nervous system. How do plants respond to stimuli? Plants respond to stimuli by showing movements. Okay, by showing a movement. For example, seedling growth. It shows a movement. When we touch a sensitive plant, such as a touch me not plant, it's a mimosa family. It's a Mimosa pudica. The plant folds its leaves. When a seed germinates, the root grows towards what grows down in the soil and stem grows up. In the first example, by responding to stimuli or touch, shows the movement by folding leaves. In second example, the seed germinate and shows directional movement. In first example, movement is independent of a growth. However, in the second example, growth is dependent of whatever the growth of a plant is dependent. Thus, the plants exhibit both growth dependent and growth independent movements. Then movements in a plants. Movements in a plants are two type. Okay, mainly two types. They are what tropic movements and nastic movements. Then what do you mean by tropic movements? Tropic movements are directional movements towards or away from the stimulus, and it depends on growth. They are the different types of what like phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism, etc. Then photonastic movements and thigmonastic movements. For example, photonastic movements, during the day the flower opens, at night it closes. That's a photonastic movement. Then thigmonastic movements, the fly land on the leaves, the fly land on the leaves, the leaves close and the fly is trapped. It's called thigmonastic movements. Okay. Then unidirectional light. Unidirectional light. Phototropism in what mug bean seedling. The school is positively phototropic. The shoot is what positively phototropic. Then phototropism, movement of a plant in response to light. If it is towards the light, it is called positive phototropism. Example, bending of shoot towards the light. If it is away from the light, it is called negative phototropism. Example, bending of roots away from the light. The next, geotropism, movement of a plant in response to gravity. If it is towards gravity, it is called a positive geotropism. Example, downward growth of roots. If it is away from gravity, it is called negative geotropism. Example, upward growth of a shoot system. So see here, okay, plant's shoot system is growing against to gravity. That's why negatively geotropic. Then roots growing towards the earth. That's why it's a positively geotropic. The next, chemotrophism. Chemotrophism is a movement of a plant in response to chemical stimuli. Example, growth of a pollen tube towards the oil. Okay, growth of a pollen tube. Okay, see here, like this pollen tubes grow towards the what um, style or stigma. Then it attaches here and it travels inside the ovary. Okay, the growth of a pollen tube towards the oil, it's a chemotrophism. Then hydrotrophism is the movement of a plants in response to water. For example, banyan tree roots travel kilometers to gather. Why means, okay, they acts as a hydrotrophism because they are going to search water. The next, Gnostic movement. Non-directional movements which are neither towards or nor away from the stimulus and it does not depends on growth. Example, if we touch the leaves of a touch me not plant, its leaves fold up and drops down immediately due to the change in the amount of water in the leaves. Depending upon the amount of water in the leaves, it swells or sinks. The next, plant respond to stimulus by some chemical changes. As in case of Mimosa pudica, it is very quick movements. Immediate response such as a mimosa, the information is transferred by the electrochemical changes from the cell to cell and the movement occurs by change in the cell size by osmosis. Then how in touch me not plants, if we touch a plant, okay, they respond to stimuli they given here. See here, okay, we touch a plant means see how the leaves are what uh, closing their petals. Okay, like this, what happens, touch me not plant behaves. Then next, in normal condition the cell remains turgid and maintain normal posture, but as a stimulus received the cell starts exmosis. As a result, water comes out of the cells and shrink the size. Whenever the size shrinks, then all leaves folds. Okay, see here they given, this is the leaf structure. The turgidity what present in the turgor pressure is present in what parenchyma cells. Whenever we touch, decrease the turgor pressure. Whenever the turgor pressure is decreased, then water comes out of the cells. Whenever the water comes out of the cell, okay, the leaves shrinks. Now we are going to discuss chemical coordination. The electric impulses of nervous system have a limitations as it does not associate with each and every cell and it requires a resting period before setting a new impulse. So there is a need of having a system in which cell secretes some chemicals which can diffuse all around it and be detected by the other cell receptors and even transmitted by them also. Then hormones. These are the chemical messengers which are secreted by endocrine glands and released directly into blood from where they can reach to the target organ and show their effect. They are secreted in a very small quantity by glands and acts upon specific cells, tissues, or organs called target site or target organs. Then now we are going to discuss plant hormones. In plants, growth and development response to the environment is controlled and coordinated by natural occurring organic chemicals substances known as phytohormones or plant hormones. These hormones are produced in one part of the plant body in minute quantities and diffuse, translocate to other parts required. Okay, in we are seeing here different stages of plant growth. For example, it's a seed, germinating seed. Okay, in this germinating seed, if this growth of a root is stopped, means ABA abscisic acid is formed. What formed means, okay, it grows a shoot system, that's a gibberellin. Then next, the seed, whenever it's grown, it forms a leaves with the help of ethylene, gibberellin, auxin. Okay, gibberellin, auxin, then cytokinin, abscisic acid to stop the growth of roots, and ethylene to stop what maturity. They are secreted here. Then in what newborn plant, auxin secretes several amount. Then what guanine secretes other what other chemicals also secreted. Then whenever the plant grown, okay, then auxin, gibberellin here secreted, auxin is here secreted in what shoot system, cytokinin secreted, ethylene to ripen the fruits, it is also secreted. Then auxin, when the growing parts of when the growing when the growing parts of a phototropic plants detect sunlight, auxin synthesized at the shoot tips helps the cells to grow longer. When light falls on one side of the plant, the auxins generally diffuse towards the shaded side of the shoot. This stimulates the cells in the shaded area to grow longer than the corresponding cells of the illuminated region. This results in the curvature of the plant stem tip towards the light. Here what they given, these are the different phases of, these are the what different phases of plants. Then what are the hormones in those phases they given it. For example, gibberellin, at the time of germination it's secreted. Okay, gibberellin also secreted at what time, growth and maturity. It's also secreted at the time of flowering. It's also what secreted at the time of fruit development. Okay, then at the time of abscission and seed dormancy it is not secreted. Then we come towards auxin. Auxin is not secreted at the time of germination, but it is secreted when the tree is growing. Okay, when the flowers are grown, when the banana is ripening. Okay, when the what tree is making a abscission or seed dormancy. Okay, like these conditions, what abscission and seed dormancy, auxin is not secreted, but growth, maturity, flowering and development, in these cases auxin is secreted. Then next, cytokinin. Cytokinin is not secreted at the time of what germination, at the time of a germination, but it secreted at the time of a growth to maturity, at the time of flowering, at the time of fruit development. Okay, in abscission and seed dormancy, it's not secreted. Which one? Cytokinin. Then ethylene. Ethylene is not secreted at the time of germination, at the time of growth to maturity. Okay, at the time of flowering it is secreted. At the timing of fruit development it's secreted. At the time of abscission it's secreted. Okay, then at the time of seed dormancy, what the ethylene is not secreted. Then abscisic acid. Abscisic acid is not secreted at the time of a germination. Okay, at the time of a growth maturity, at the time of a flowering plants. Okay, development, at the time of a fruits development, it's not secreted. But at the time of a what abscission, and at the time of a seed dormancy, what abscisic acid is secreted. Then cytokinins. It promotes cell division and are present in greater concentration in those areas of the plant where rapid cell division occurs, such as fruits and seeds. Next, gibberellins. It helps in growth of plant in length. They promote a stem elongation by promoting cell division in the internodal region. Abscisic acid. It inhibits the growth, causes wilting of leaves, and also induces dormancy. Okay, period in which the growth occur during the unfavorable condition. Okay, then what at the time of seed germination, what happened? What cytokinin secreted induce a growth of a shoot. Then gibberellin stimulates the cell elongation, where in stem. Then auxin promote root initiation. It helps to growth of a roots of a plants. Then florigen, it helps to trigger a blossoming, flowers to blossoming. Then now we are going to discuss animal hormones. Animal hormones, these are secreted by endocrine glands in animals. Some important glands are hypothalamus, where it is in brain. Situated in brain, it releases some factors which control the secretions of pituitary gland. Then pituitary gland. It is also situated in brain and is known as a master gland of the body. Its secretions control the other endocrine glands and regulate them. It also produces growth hormone which regulates growth and development of the body. Deficiency of this hormone can be cause dwarfism. Okay, structures they given. Okay, different structures you already seen. Now endocrine glands in human beings. Endocrine glands in where? Human beings. See, in brain region, pineal gland is there, hypothalamus is there, pituitary gland is there. Okay, see here, base pituitary gland is there. Then parathyroid gland is there, thyroid gland is there, thymus gland is there in between neck and chest. And in our kidney, adrenal glands are there, pancreas is there, ovary is there, and testis. These are the what important hormones produced in our human body. Then thyroid, it secretes a thyroxine which controls the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Iodine is essential for synthesis of thyroxine, so deficiency of iodine in a diet will cause a goiter disease having a symptoms of swollen necks. The next, pancreas. It secretes a insulin hormone which controls blood sugar level. If not secreted in enough quantities, it will be uh, it will be lead to diabetes, rise of a sugar level in blood. Then gonads. Gonads are called as a sex organs. Okay, in males, testis secrete testosterone, and in females secretes these gonad hormones are secreting ovaries and estrogen. Ovaries secretes estrogen and progesterone, in which control sex organs and sexual characteristics during a puberty. Then now we are going to discuss about adrenal. It secretes an adrenaline hormone which regulates heartbeat to maintain a proper oxygen supply in emergency condition. The muscle around small arteries to digestive systems and skin contract and the blood flow increases to skeletal muscles. The breathing rate is also increases, enabling body to deal with emergencies. Then hormone what release increased. Okay, and we are now where we are studying, we are studying our endocrine system. Endocrine system hormone release and decreased. One, increase the levels of metabolism or stimulating hormones. Then after death, hormone release increased. Very sorry, after death I used word, very sorry. Hormone release increased in endocrine system. Then whenever they released what increase rate, metabolic level also drops. Okay, again the endocrine system will come to normal stage. Okay, up to now discussed up to now we discussed what important terms related to which chapter? Control and coordination. These are very important key points whatever I discussed with you. Okay, these whatever the slides are there, these are prepared by a resource person of ILVS. Thanking them. Thank you, sir. And hopefully these videos, it's my work is to only share audio notes to you. These audio notes helpful to prepare your notes, to write your face, and to make a revision. And whenever you are doing your work, any other activities like riding bike or traveling or what traveling in a bus, or you are doing any other activities, at that time if you add a headphones and if you listen these Okay, hopefully you will score more in your 10th exam. Hopefully these are useful. Thank you. Thank you.